Hello and welcome to this edition of the Newsfeed. I'm Luis Colazzo. From elementary school to high school, we've all been taught the value of an education and the importance of getting a college degree. Today, we're here to discuss the next steps in pursuing higher education with the current prospective graduate school students. I'm here with Lizzie Sullivan to talk about why she's considering graduate school. Hello, Lizzie. Nice to have you here today.
Thanks for allowing me
So,
to be here.
why are you considering going to grad school?
Well, I think nowadays just having an undergraduate degree depends on your degree, but doesn't set you up super well to like getting a career that is gonna really advance you. And so I'm a psychology major, and having a bachelor's degree in psychology, you can't really do anything higher or further. So for me, like specifically, I want to do counseling, and you just can't do that without a master's degree. So I basically kind of have to. But this past year, I've just really enjoyed what I've been learning in my psychology classes, and really don't want this to be the last year that I'm studying those things. So partly, I've had professors that have instilled in me like a desire to learn more and further that, but also in order to get the job that I want to have, I just simply have to go and learn more of the specific things that I need to know in order to do counseling. Yes, because I have friends that come out of undergraduate with they're working retail or at Starbucks, and it's like, man, it's way harder to get a job nowadays with just an undergraduate degree.
So do you feel like your undergraduate experience has helped you at all to get to this point, to be applying to graduate school?
Yeah, well, definitely at Virginia Tech, I think that a lot of professors here really encourage that, and I think if it weren't for the experiences that I've had with them, specifically some of my psychology professors that have encouraged me in that direction, I probably wouldn't be going on to further school. So, and there's been, classes that haven't here, but like within the major, I think that Virginia Tech has done an incredible job at encouraging students to go further and reach the potential that we have in our education, and yeah.
So where have you applied so far?
So right now I'm applying to Radford, go Highlanders. But like after looking further into like Virginia Tech's counseling program, Radford actually got accredited first, so they have a little bit better of a program. So yeah, I was looking at Virginia Tech, but decided, even if I got into Radford, I'd probably choose that program over Tech's program. And I'm also looking at George Mason's program up in Fairfax, so that's where I'm from originally. And so my parents really want me to live at home and save money while I'm doing grad school, but they have a really, really great program. My high school counselor when I was in high school went there, and she went to Virginia Tech for undergrad, went to George Mason to get her counseling degree, and so she's encouraged me in that, but I also love this area. So where you go to grad school a lot of the times is like you get your job in that area because you begin building a network there. So just like thinking even further into my future, like I would love to work in this area and live in this area. So going to school here or at Radford would set me up really well to be in this area, get a job in like the school system here. So yeah.
So the application process to Radford, how's it going? What stage are you in?
Well, it's actually not due till February, which is kind of crazy because it just feels kind of late. So I have to wait a long time, but I'm just ordered my transcripts. I'm taking the GRE next week over Thanksgiving break. So I'm currently studying for that, and it's stressful, especially during this is a hard week of school and we have finals coming up. So it's kind of stressful to be doing both those things at the same time. But so it is kind of nice that I have winter break to work on. It's nice that they make it not till February, but it is late, and it's late to know what am I doing next year, where am I going to be. But they make it as easy as they can on you. It's very clear, the website, and my advisor's very helpful, and Radford has followed up with me. Like, they sent me a follow-up email after they saw I started my application. So they make it as helpful to the student as they can. But it's a stressful process because it's like, oh, well, my future rides on this. So, yeah.
So what do you have to expect from your higher education? Because a lot of people, they say they want to apply, but they don't really know what they want to get out of it. They're going just to go. I mean, you see that in undergraduate as well. So what do you expect to get out of it, and what do you expect to learn that will benefit you to go on and apply for a job?
Yeah. Well, if I was to go into a counseling job right now, I would have no idea what I was doing. And I have a friend actually in the program at Radford right now that has talked to me about the classes she's in and talked to me about what she's learning. And so I'm expecting to learn a lot more specific and detailed and in-depth things on what's going to be relevant to the job I'm in, where you don't really get that in undergrad. You get a broad range of stuff. So I'm really expecting to get just detailed things that are going to help me and like give me a better picture of what it's going to look like to be in that career, and really just to equip and prepare me, because I don't, as I'm not coming out of undergrad feeling equipped or prepared to be in a professional career necessarily in my field. So yeah, and I'm excited to learn a lot more in depth of the things that have interested me in undergrad. I'm excited to go even deeper in that, and yeah, just really just learn a lot more.
So have you had any opportunities outside of school to really kind of improve on any of these situations where you know that you're going to have to be better in?
Outside of school? Well, I'm involved in a couple different organizations, and for me, doing counseling, the main one, I'm in Young Life, which, so that basically gives me real world experience of counseling. I'm working with high school students, and I'm kind of as a mentor figure. So that has also spurred my interest, and yeah, if I could like do that without having a degree, I would, but it's like, well, I need my degree and I want to be a professional in this field. So yeah, but for the most part, it's been things at Virginia Tech that have prepared me, so less so outside. But my brother is currently working on his PhD at Johns Hopkins in econ, and so he's really like been telling me about that post-grad process has influenced me as well, and he's kind of spurred me on, and seeing how much more he is learning right now than he learned in undergrad is like, wow, there's a lot more to be learned. So my brother has encouraged me, my dad's encouraged me, and yeah, I think that they've kind of helped prepare me.
Well, Lizzie, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. Coming up, a look at the application process applying to dental school.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
Welcome back to our discussion on the pursuit of higher education. Let's take a look at the information newsfeed reporter Maura Have collected about students' plans for after graduation.
Thanks, Louise. More and more students are choosing postgraduate education as a precursor to getting a job or as a job supplement. According to the National Center for Education Statistics, about 3 million students in the United States enrolled in graduate school programs in the fall of 2016. Many have also found attaining further education financially worthwhile. Median earnings of young adults with a master's degree or higher were $59,100 in 2014, some 18% higher than the median earnings of adults with a bachelor's degree. Of course, with more benefits came more personal expenses. In 2011 and 2012, graduate students received a total of $51.7 billion in federal loans and grants, institutional grants, employer support, and financial aid from other sources. In general, most graduate students have found further education to have plenty of positive aspects that will aid them in their research or careers. Back to you, Luis.
I'm here now with Virginia Tech senior Talha Iqbal, who is currently in the process of applying to dental school. So nice to have you on. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So what was the main decision to help you decide to pursue a higher education?
So for me, it was, in general, I wanted to be I wanted to be really well educated in whatever I did. And in particular for dentistry, I pretty much came from a family of doctors. So the idea of wanting to help people out was always something that was instilled in my head. And it was just a matter of deciding what exactly I wanted to do. And when it came down to it, just shadowing a dentist, everything just seemed like it was something that I could see myself doing in the future, like the feeling of helping someone fix their smile and just like in general, the lifestyle, the salary, and overall just making a difference in the community was something really big for me.
So where are some of the schools that you've applied to already, and how's the application process work? Because you're going through it right now. So was there an interview process? Did you have to meet certain people to get in front or even to apply to the school? So what was that like? What has it been like for you?
Yeah, so this process, it was really hectic. So it starts out in about June where they open up the admission application, and the earlier you apply, the better chances you have of getting interviews. So the way it works is that you submit your application in June. I did mine like the first week, and you apply. I applied to about, I think, 8 schools, and after that, it's just a waiting game, and then they start contacting you for interviews in July, August, and then you pretty much just wait it out, and wherever you get an interview, you go, and they pretty much just check your personality in your interview and see if you're a good fit for the school. And it's also a really good opportunity for yourself to see if you're a good fit for the school. And in the end, they'll usually notify you like a few months later.
So how has your undergrad experience prepared you for where you are right now? Because everyone's undergraduate experience is different, so do you feel like yours prepared you to be able to be in the situation that you're in now? And what kind of experiences did that bring you?
Yeah, for me, so I was pretty heavily involved in extracurriculars at Virginia Tech, and I think that really made me a well-rounded person. And overall, instead of just focusing on studying all day and just focusing on my career, I think I have been able to develop myself as a personable person, and as I feel like I'm very confident in myself and what I do because of just in general, as an undergrad, I was able to work with great professors and hold leadership positions in some of the coolest clubs at school.
So have you done any internships or any stuff outside of the Virginia Tech campus to improve your status or to make your application a little more competitive than other students who are also applying for the same spot?
Yeah, so I've been doing research on the side, as well as I've been shadowing dentists as well. Most of my stuff has actually been through Virginia Tech, whether it was working or being the president of an organization. But in general, I try to keep myself busy even in the summers, and whether that involves me at Virginia Tech or not. So yeah.
So grad school is kind of expensive, just like being an out-of-state student in any state school. So do you have a plan, if you don't mind me asking you, do you have a plan where your financial situation is also taken care of, because paying for grad school on your own is a pretty big deal to handle yourself?
Yeah, so for dental school especially, loans can be crazy. So most of the schools that I interviewed at, they were estimating about $400,000 that you're gonna take out for 4 years. So it can be really overwhelming. For me in particular, there's one state school in Virginia, and it's VCU, which offers in-state tuition, which is about half the price of that. So it seems a lot more bearable, and as a dentist, once you come out, you're gonna be expecting to make 6 digits. So overall, hopefully, as my plan is to attend the state school and then hopefully go from there, and I don't think the loan is going to be too overwhelming, especially because I live in the Richmond area. So living at home will also save some expense.
So, as somebody who is at the stage in your academic career, do you think it's important for other undergraduate students to apply for grad school, or do you think it depends on what kind of career path they're taking in general?
I think it generally depends on the person. I don't think it's necessary to go through grad school in order to make yourself a successful person in career-wise. Just depends on what career you're trying to pursue. Like obviously, if you're trying to go in the health professions, I would highly recommend going to grad school because you're in charge of everyone else's, like you're in charge of the lives of other people. But I think in general, like there are definitely careers, and there's definitely people that are like billionaires that never even that dropped out of college. So I think it just depends on what you're trying to do and how passionate you are about what you're gonna do. Like I wouldn't go to grad school if I wasn't confident and passionate about what I'm going in for.
So at what point did you decide that you wanted to go to grad school? Because everyone's different at their stage, whether it's, you know, when they're entering college or they decide last minute as a senior. So when was that point for you?
So for me, I've wanted to go to grad school since I was probably in high school, early high school, because I always saw, like, I knew that I wanted to do something in the health professions, and I knew that being a health professional would require me to go to grad school. And just overall, I felt I like to learn and I love education. So I can see myself staying in school for long periods of time without having trouble. So that was about the time when I pretty much knew that grad school was the way to go.
So what are your expectations for grad school?
Definitely rigorous curriculum, and it's understandable. Like it's 4 years. It's going to be 4 years of just like tough times, but in the end, I can see it being rewarding because being a health professional in that field, it's something that you really have to like focus on and put time in because of the fact that you're responsible for the lives of others.
So as you just mentioned, you know, the next 4 years or however long you're there, it's going to be a grind. So where do you see yourself after that? You know, because you're going to be up in the DC area, you're going to be in an area, it's a big city, there are a lot of opportunities there. So where do you see yourself if you plan on going there or if you plan on going somewhere else?
So for me, in 4 years, in general, like right now, I haven't decided if I wanted to specialize, which is another thing for dentistry. You can specialize after 4 years and go into orthodontics or endodontics or anything else, like other specialties. But if I were to just stay as a general, I think I would work as an associate in some clinic nearby, like Richmond area, and try to pay off my loans first, and then move on and see, like inevitably try to open up a private practice where I can pretty much be my own boss and owner of my practice.
Well, Tal, thank you for your time. I appreciate your insight on the subject. Up next, a look at what students' postgraduate plans are around campus. In addition, a discussion with current Virginia Tech graduates.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Welcome back to our discussion on the pursuit of higher education. Newsfeed reporter Mina Sharif talked with Virginia Tech students about their future plans after receiving their bachelor's degree. Let's take a look at what Mina found out.
Hi, this is Mina Sharif reporting for the Newsfeed. Today we're asking Virginia Tech students what their plans for after graduation are.
I hope to get some more experience in the field that I'm studying right now, which is mechanical engineering. So I'm doing I'm doing an internship this summer that I hope will prepare me for that.
I'm planning on going to Georgetown or George Washington because I'm interested in doing international affairs once I finish my undergrad. I have an interest in working for NGOs, so like the UN or the World Bank, and helping with economic development, international development. And I thought those would be the best options for me to pursue that type of field.
I'm studying neuroscience right now, and I have many options to go with that, but for me to have like a good paying job and to be like living a comfortable life, I would have to pursue in a post undergrad like school, so I'd have to go to graduate school. I haven't decided what I would do yet. I'm thinking about business health administration, so for me to do that, I'd have to get an MBA, and neuroscience doesn't teach you about business, so for me to go to grad school, I'd have to learn the business aspect and not the health side that I learned in undergrad.
I'm either going to go straight into the workforce working for a mining company, hopefully to specialize in environmental reclamation of mines, or I'm going to go into grad school to get my master's in mining with a specialized focus in environmental reclamation of mines.
I want to go to med school and learn about oncology because that aspect of the medical field really interests me. And so after that, I'd have to go to do residency, internship, basically a lot of school.
I plan on getting at least a year or two of work experience and then heading to law school because over the past year, I've really grown passionate about criminal justice reform. Last fall, I went on a service trip to Columbus, Ohio, and we work with a nonprofit called MCS Touch, and they help ex-cons get reintegrated back into society. So they help with clothing, job placement, shelter, things like that. So it kind of really made me feel like I could do something in that field. So I plan to study criminal law and hopefully work for the DOJ one day.
I plan on joining the military and serving in the Marine Corps for 4 to 8 years afterwards, and then depending on what I want to do, I'll either stay in or come out and join a private sector job.
So what we've talked about with students, we can conclude that most of them want to pursue higher education to increase their competition, to increase their knowledge in their fields, and to gain more experience. This is Amina Sharif reporting for the Newsfeed.
Thanks, Mina. I'm now joined by current graduate student John Woodcock. Thank you for joining us, John.
My pleasure.
So, what was the moment that inspired you to apply to grad school and to pursue this journey for you?
Okay, so mine story is a little bit different. Just being an athlete and having my first year at University of Arkansas, where I redshirted, and then transferring here and having that extra year of eligibility really allowed me. Since I was going to be able to graduate in 4 years, so I had that 5th year. I originally planned to get a minor of some sort, but then with the advising team here at Tech, they gave me the option to apply to grad school, and it ended up working out really fortunately for me.
So do you feel like the classes that you took, just undergraduate-wise, prepared you well enough to experience what you're experiencing now?
I mean, for me it's a little different going from psychology to industrial engineering. But I would say the main thing that helped with my undergrad would just be the connections I made with my professors and learning how to manage my time and work with people not only in the classroom but outside of the classroom in order to accomplish the goals you want to get done.
So during your application process, like you said, you mentioned before you were a student athlete. Did you do anything else besides that to prepare yourself and to make your application stronger than somebody else's? Because yes, you were a student athlete, but there's also some other things that you might need to do to be able to be accepted into graduate school here at Virginia Tech.
Oh yeah, I mean, everyone had to take the GRE to apply to the program, but I think the thing that helped me the most would be the letter of recommendations I received. I was able to meet up with the athletic director, Whit Babcock, and talk with him, and I was fortunate enough to get a letter of recommendation from him. And just with the amount of people he knows and the respect he has, I think that helped me a lot with my admission into the program.
So explain your experiences so far during grad school, because you're also working with the Hockey Club as well. So explain what you're doing on a regular basis in class and outside of class that you have to work with all these other people.
Yeah, I mean, this is my first year not playing baseball, just being a normal student. So I thought I'd have a little bit more time to relax and just enjoy being a normal student, but it's actually been the opposite. I've been working with the Hockey Club, monitoring some study hall classes for freshman wrestlers, and then Friday mornings I'll help prepare for game days if there's one Saturday, and then if there's an away game, I'll contact Hockey Club members or boosters just to thank them for their generosity or their donations that they made, and yeah, it's been an eye-opening process getting off the field and transitioning into more of a professional career.
So do you believe that being able to go to a graduate school such as the one that Virginia Tech has here, do you feel how it's prepared you to transition to the real world?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not even the material I learn in class, just being able to interact with the great professors here at Virginia Tech and just the classmates I have. It's like you're on a team with your classmates, but they also motivate you to compete versus one another, and you're always trying to produce your highest quality material whenever you do school, so it's helped out a ton.
So what's an example of something that you would do as a group project and also as an individual project if you're doing something on your own to present to the class?
So an example of a group project that I just presented was we had to create a design, prototype of any sort. It's just a usability engineering class, so you're trying to make devices that are usable like very easily and innovative for people. So the device we came up with was an augmented reality shopping experience. So it'd be like you have an iPad, and then say if you were trying to buy a new chair for your living room, you could scan have the iPad in like a landscape mode, taking a picture of your living room, and then you could see how the chair would look in that spot. So you could pick like the size and the color and stuff. So that was one of my little more computer based classes where I was on a team with some computer scientists, and they actually coded up the prototype. So that was pretty cool. And then a presentation I just gave by myself as an individual project was we had to do a injury risk assessment on one of the buildings on campus. So I chose Squires and just observed the building and found out any problems or potential injuries that could occur due to the design of the building.
So now that you're already in grad school, you're approaching your final year, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So looking back on everything, do you feel like your undergraduate track affected where you wanted to go for grad school or what path you took for grad school?
Yeah, I mean, I've just been so fortunate and everything has worked out so well for me personally. Coming to Tech, one of the reasons I chose Tech was just how prestigious of an engineering university it was. But with transferring here for baseball and my undergraduate degree, I was only able to choose between sociology, psychology, and communication. So I ended up choosing psychology just because it was in the School of Science. And then knowing that I wanted to do something in the engineering field for my career, I was planning on getting a math minor or something along those lines, and then it just worked out super well for me to get into this graduate program here at Virginia Tech, and yeah, I couldn't have asked for anything better for it to work out.
Well, John, thank you for talking to us. Thanks for sharing your experiences.
I appreciate it.
That will wrap up this special edition of the Newsfeed. A big thank you to our guests for joining us today. If you have a story idea or even a talk show idea for the Newsfeed, let us know. Send us an email at thenewsfeednrv@gmail.com. And as always, you can connect with the Newsfeed on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you for watching. I'm Luis Colazo.